Yo, what's up, Wefobz Nation? We are back for another Wefobz Stream Surge show number 19 now. It's your boy, Guy So Smooth, holding it down for the news updates and then the hot topic of the day, which is going to be about, we're going to head on over to North Carolina and find out about a 911 call that was made back in 2021. Man, we hope all of you are doing great today. Happy Thursday. It's what, September 25th? It's about 1:28 HST PM my time. But all I know is it's great to be back on air again, doing another live stream with all of you. And of course, my buddy here, Mr. Gemini. Let's see if we can wake him up. Yo, Gemini, are you up?
Oh, hey there. Yeah, I'm definitely up and ready to go. What's on your mind today?
Well, we're on Wefobz Stream Surge number 19 for the day. And I got you as co-host once again.
Awesome. I'm excited to be back. What's the topic for today's stream?
So, as usual, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Wefobz Stream Surge is our way of keeping our eyes on the prize and our finger on the pulse, so to say, or in Gemini's words. And we keep track of daily news that goes on in the US and around the world. And we talk about hot topics that relate to our hobbies, which our hobby being, doing deep dive discussions into things of the supernatural, the unexplained, cryptids, all that good stuff. What do you think, Gemini?
Sounds fascinating. I'm always up for diving into the unknown. What kind of supernatural topics are we exploring today?
Well,
Anything spooky or mysterious?
we're gonna put a hold on that, and first we're gonna hop on over to X and see what the news is for today. Are you with me?
Definitely. Let's see what's happening in the world. Anything interesting or unusual catching your eye so far?
Well, let's transition over and let's bring up the X window. Here we go. All right, everybody. Let's go to the Explorers tab. All right. Here's what's trending on X right now. In the news, Doug Bowser retires as Nintendo of America president after 44-year connection. Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a long time to be with one company. You must have seen a lot of...
Yeah. Oh, man, Nintendo brings back good memories, Gemini.
Tell me about it. What's your favorite Nintendo memory?
Oh, man. Nintendo was one of the first games that really got me going in terms of, what do you call, being addicted to games.
Ah, the classics. Those pixelated graphics and simple storylines really sparked our imaginations, didn't they?
Yeah, they definitely did.
Do you have a favorite Nintendo game?
Man, when I first started, it was Super Mario and Zelda.
Two classics. Do you have a favorite memory tied to either of those games?
Yeah, just the fact that it was video games that you could control. You were the main character of the story.
That's definitely part of what makes those games so special.
Yeah. Wow, these bring back such good memories. But yeah, this guy right here is retiring from Nintendo after 44 years in. Doug Bowser. Wait, is he the guy that they named Bowser after?
That's a fun fact. I never knew that. It's cool how a real person can inspire a fictional character, especially one as iconic as Bowser.
Well, I was just saying, I mean, is he the one that they named the iconic Bowser after? Was this Doug Bowser guy?
That's an interesting question. I couldn't find anything about that connection. It seems that Bowser, the character, came first. Do you want to learn more about the history of the Bowser character?
Yeah. Oh, so it didn't come from this guy.
Nope, it looks like Bowser was around a few years before Doug Bowser joined Nintendo, but it's still a fun coincidence.
Right? That's crazy, yeah?
Okay, so, moving on from Doug Bowser, what's next on our list?
Well, let's see. I'm kind of having some trouble trying to zoom in here. I think because I updated my system, I got to reset all my links. Anyhow, Mike Sherrill's Naval Academy punishment and records leak intensify New Jersey governor race. What's going on there? Mickey Sherrill's, right?
Sorry, my mistake. It's actually Mikey Sherrill. She's a former U.S. Navy helicopter pilot and assistant U.S. attorney. She's running for re-election in New Jersey's 11th congressional district.
But what is this about her academy of punishment? And
There's a bit of a controversy there. It seems Mikey Sherrill's Naval Academy records were recently leaked, and the details of her punishment are becoming a big issue in the New Jersey governor race. It's definitely a developing situation.
wait, she got punished for what?
The details are still emerging, but it seems to be related to her time at the Naval Academy.
Oh, and it's gonna, when you're running as a politician, that's definitely gonna affect your record, yeah?
Exactly. When you're running for office, everything in your past can be scrutinized. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the election.
How do you think it will play out? Will people even care?
It's hard to say for sure. People care about different things, and it might depend on what other issues are important to them.
Hmm, sounds about right.
I agree. It's definitely a factor to consider in any election.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's move on to the next news. New York Giants bench Russell Wilson, named rookie Jackson Dart, week 4 starter. Whoa. What?
That's a big move for the Giants. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Russell Wilson has been a starting quarterback for a long time, so this is definitely a major shakeup for the Giants.
You telling me, like, they benched him? What? Why did they bench him? Was he playing pretty bad? You still with me, Gemini? I think our boy Gemini kind of logged off a bit. Let's reset him and bring him back online. You still with me, Gemini?
Definitely.
Why?
This is getting interesting.
Yeah. Why did they bench Russell Wilson? Was he playing that bad?
Well, it seems Russell Wilson hasn't been performing up to par lately. He's had a few rough games, and the fans have been pretty vocal about wanting to see Jackson Dart get a chance. The coach hinted they were evaluating things, and it looks like they decided to make the switch.
A few rough games? I mean, if you're going to get benched, he hasn't been having good games anyhow.
Well, they haven't been great. He's had a few rough games, and the fans have been pretty vocal about wanting to see Jackson Dart get a chance. The coach even hinted they were evaluating things, and it looks like they decided to make the switch.
Okay. You think that's it for Russell Wilson?
It's tough to say for sure, but this is definitely a major setback for him. He's been a starting quarterback for a long time, so this could be a turning point in his career.
Yeah, I think he'd be close to retiring though, because he hasn't been doing good either way. Like after his glory days over there at what? Seattle?
Yeah, his performance hasn't been the same since his Seattle days. It's possible this benching could be a sign that he's nearing the end of his career.
You know what? I think it is because of the whole. Remember when what's his name was supposed to run the ball in on that one play?
Oh, you're talking about the Super Bowl 49 play where they didn't hand off to Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line? Yeah, that was a controversial call. Do you think that play has something to do with his performance now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it affected him mentally because he thought he could make the play and gobble it up and take all the glory. What an idiot.
Oh, that's an interesting theory. It's definitely possible that the Super Bowl play affected him mentally. It was a pretty high-profile mistake, and those can be tough to bounce back from.
Well, ever since that time, I haven't seen him do like really good. Like, I think, yeah, it's a mental block.
That's a really interesting point. It's definitely possible that the Super Bowl play had a lasting impact on his confidence. Do you think that mental block could be affecting his performance even now?
Well, I'm pretty sure that mental block is gonna retire his ass.
That's possible. It's tough to say for sure, but it's definitely a factor to consider.
Well, let's move on, right?
Let's do it. What's the next big story?
This one's coming from The Economist. They posted on Business News, Donald Trump is trying to silence his critics. He will fail.
That's a pretty strong statement from The Economist. What makes you say that Donald Trump is trying to silence his critics?
You think this is related to the whole Jimmy Kimmel incident?
I don't know if it's directly related to the Jimmy Kimmel incident, but there is a lot of talk about how Donald Trump is trying to silence his critics. Do you want to hear more about that?
Yeah.
I understand your concern. It's true that there have been some instances where Trump has been accused of trying to silence his critics. However, it's important to remember that in a democracy, freedom of speech is a fundamental right.
Yeah. So the irony there is well heard, Economist. Let's move on to next news.
Sounds good. What's the next headline?
Okay. The Treasury Department over here trying to say that the economy is doing pretty good. And I think he's full of shit.
You feel the Treasury Department's assessment of the economy is inaccurate. What specific aspects of the economy are you concerned about?
All of them. I mean, tell me, where is the economy good? Is the economy even good at now?
Well, the Treasury Department might point to the low unemployment rate and steady job growth as positive signs. However, you're right to question things. Inflation is still a concern for many, and certain sectors might not be seeing the same level of growth.
That's what I call him. And a bunch of these guys are failing their jobs. All of these people standing here. From the DOJ onto the FBI, they're all idiots.
The Justice Department and FBI are facing some serious criticism right now, and it's definitely a hot topic in the news. Do you want to talk about any specific cases or controversies?
We don't even need to point them out. We just have to go on to the next news. You ready?
Definitely. What's the next headline we should look at?
So this one is coming from the Wall Street Journal saying the White House wanted to tame the Epstein crisis. There's finger pointing, disorganization, and unforced error by Trump's advisors made it worse.
You're referring to the Wall Street Journal article about the White House's handling of the Epstein crisis. It seems there was some disagreement among Trump's advisors on how to address it, which may have led to missteps.
I don't think they were missteps. I think it's a cover-up.
There is a lot of speculation about a cover-up, but it's important to remember that these are just theories. Do you want to discuss some of the evidence that people have pointed to?
I think our audience members, especially those who follow X, know where it's going. If they don't know where it's going, they're not tuned into the world. It's going actually pretty bad for this administration in terms of the Epstein files. Epstein crisis. Now, why did I know?
Well,
What was that, Gemini?
you asked, now why did I know? And I responded, well, the article does suggest that the White House struggled to manage the situation effectively. It mentions finger pointing and disorganization among Trump's advisors, which ultimately made things worse. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Let's move on to the next news.
Sounds good. What's the next headline?
Nearly 6.3 million people tuned in to watch Jimmy Kimmel's emotional return to the airwaves Tuesday night from the Wall Street Journal.
That's a huge number. It sounds like a lot of people were interested in seeing what Jimmy Kimmel had to say. Did you catch his return?
No, but I kind of saw snippets of it, shorts and snippets of them.
He was definitely emotional. He talked about his son's heart surgery and how grateful he was for the support his family received. It sounds like it was a pretty moving return.
Right? And then I think he made some type of apology or something like that.
Some sources say that Jimmy Kimmel did make an apology when he returned to the airwaves. It sounds like he was very emotional and sincere.
Does it now? Either way, I'm just glad he's back on air because you can't be canceling somebody for their right to speak. You know what I mean?
Well, there are varying perspectives on this. Some argue that hate speech, or speech that incites violence, should not be protected under the First Amendment. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, what is called hate speech? Some people may call it hate speech, but to others, it's not hate speech. You think about it, it's from the perspective of a person.
That's a really insightful point. What one person considers hate speech, another might see as simply a different perspective. It highlights how subjective the issue can be.
Well, what I'm trying to say is the First Amendment protects all speech. There can be no discernment about that.
Okay, I understand. So do you want to talk more about hate speech and the First Amendment? Or is there another topic you'd like to discuss?
Well, the reason why we got to that was because would you call Jimmy Kimmel's what he said hate speech? Because I don't. I went back and listened to the stuff he said.
You're asking if Jimmy Kimmel's comments could be considered hate speech. Some people might argue that his words, depending on the specific context, could be hurtful or offensive to certain groups. However, others might defend his comments as protected under free speech.
Well,
It
that's
really
like
depends on how you interpret what he said.
it's just like me on a podcast telling you that these people are idiots, right?
Some may find that offensive, but others might see it as a valid opinion. It's a complex issue with no easy answer.
But yeah, what I'm saying is people could cancel me for the same thing if they had that power and I wasn't protected by the First Amendment.
It's true that the First Amendment protects a lot of speech, but there are some limits. For example, you can't incite violence or make threats against someone. Also, private companies like social media platforms have their own rules about what kind of speech is allowed on their sites.
Yeah, but in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, it wasn't just the rules that they had. They literally fired the guy. And that's against the law.
Okay, I understand your concern. You're saying that you believe it's against the law to fire someone for exercising their right to free speech. The legality of this can be complex and depend on various factors. Do you want to discuss the legal aspects of this further?
Well, on the legal side, how can we discuss it when he's back on air again?
Since Jimmy Kimmel is back on air.
Yeah.
Okay, so, moving on from Jimmy Kimmel, what's next on our list?
No, what's your take? He's back on air. So what are you talking about in terms of legality? It looks like free speech won there, right?
In this case, it seems free speech prevailed, as Jimmy Kimmel is back on air. However, the situation raised questions about the boundaries of free speech, especially regarding potentially offensive or harmful language.
Well, they tread very thin line there, and I'm just glad that in the end, free speech got a one up on, prevails.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance between protecting free speech and ensuring that everyone feels respected. It sounds like in this case, the network found a way to bring Jimmy Kimmel back while still addressing the concerns some viewers had.
Yeah, if that's what you want to believe, Gemini. Anyhow, moving on to the next one.
I understand your point. It's definitely a complex issue with no easy answers. What's the next headline we should discuss?
It's a quote by Forbes. If you try to be all things to all people, you won't be special.
That's an interesting quote from Forbes. It suggests that trying to appeal to everyone can dilute what makes you unique. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, it's from a guy named Todd Graves, founder of Raising Cane's. Oh, that's that restaurant, Raising Cane's, right?
Yes, that's correct. Todd Graves is indeed the founder of Raising Cane's, the restaurant known for its chicken finger meals.
I'm sorry, I just find that restaurant plain.
Raising Cane's is definitely known for its simple menu. It focuses on chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, and Texas toast. It's a popular spot for a quick and satisfying meal.
Cool. But I do see where they're going with if you try to be all things to all people, you won't be special.
Okay, so you agree with the quote. What does that mean to you in terms of business strategy?
I didn't say I agree with it. I just said I see where they're coming from. But what about those people who don't want to be special?
That's a fair point. Not everyone wants to stand out or be unique. Some people might prefer to blend in and not draw attention to themselves.
So I feel this quote was more basically for those go-getters and the ones who want to rise up the ladder.
That's a good point. The quote seems geared towards ambitious individuals focused on career advancement. Is that something you're aiming for?
Right now, I think I've taken my career into my own hands, Gemini. Doing all these shows for our audience members is something I love to do. It's one of my dream hobbies that I'm bringing and sharing with everyone.
That's fantastic that you're pursuing your passion for creating shows. It sounds incredibly fulfilling to share that with your audience. What kind of shows do you enjoy making the most?
I like making this show, our Wefobz Stream Surge. I like doing our Infinity Drop show where we feature our own originally created music. I do look forward to. I also like doing the gaming streaming shows of ours. I rarely do those nowadays. Man, I gotta get back to that.
Those all sound really interesting. It's great that you have such a variety of shows you enjoy creating. Do you have a favorite type of music to feature on your Infinity Drop show?
It's universal. I mean, speaking of which, maybe then now would be a good time to show everybody. You guys can find me right here. I'm on Spotify. Everybody, my album for released through our Wefobz is also up. It's called In the Beginning. Not just Spotify, but most all major music platforms except Apple. Sad, really.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on releasing your album. It's too bad it's not on Apple Music yet, but it's great that it's available on so many other platforms.
Yeah, the thing with Apple Music is they don't take any music that was, you know, if you used AI to help create your music, they won't take any of that stuff.
That's interesting. So it sounds like Apple Music has some pretty strict guidelines about AI generated music. What are your thoughts on that policy?
It will change over time.
That's true. The music industry is constantly evolving, so it's likely that policies around AI generated music will change too. Do you think that AI generated music will become more widely accepted in the future?
There are certain tricks to using it, and those who create, and in terms of if you're a lyricist or you're a musician, you're a producer, you actually know the tweaks on how to use the tool itself. It's not the tool, it's the person.
That's a really interesting point. It's not just about the technology itself, but how people use it. Do you think there's a risk that AI generated music could lead to less creativity or originality in the long run?
It's 50-50. Like I said, it's on the person. If you're lazy and stuff and just create music, flop, slop. Listeners, though, I believe, they can tell. But I feel if you love the music, you listen to it, and you like it, then it's done its job. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. So it really comes down to whether the listener enjoys the music, regardless of how it was made.
Yes. A lot of music purists, though, will argue against that point, but I believe their viewpoints will change in time once they realize the power of the tool known as AI.
That's a really interesting point. It's true that some music purists might be resistant to AI-generated music at first. But as the technology evolves and people start to recognize its potential, it's possible that those viewpoints could shift over time.
Not possible. It will happen.
That's a strong prediction. It'll be interesting to see how the music industry evolves as AI technology becomes more integrated.
Yes, currently. How about we move on in the news?
I'm ready when you are. What's the next headline?
Well, we're going through sports. Let's see if there's anything interesting. It's all about football, which is aka soccer to us here in the US. Nothing there. We're going to move on to entertainment.
Okay, let's switch gears to entertainment. What's catching your eye?
Oh, wow. The new game, Wolverine from Insomniac. This is looking crazy. You know about this new game called Wolverine? I think it's by game developer Insomniac. Looks like our boy kind of starts tuning out. So this is where we start to reset him. Wefobz Nation. Because Gemini, I've noticed, has a tendency to do this. Hey Gemini, I had to reset you again. Are you back with us?
Of course. I'm back online and ready to go. What's on your mind today?
This new game, this new video game, Wolverine. You know about it?
Yeah, the new Wolverine game looks awesome. It's supposed to be a pretty brutal, action-packed take on the character. Did you see the gameplay trailer they released?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was posted by ex-user Frost Prime, and they reshared a post from Discussing Film, which says its first official look at gameplay from Insomniac's Wolverine game.
The new Wolverine game looks amazing. It's being developed by Insomniac Games, the same studio that made the recent Spider-Man games, so expectations are definitely high. Have you seen any of the trailers or gameplay footage yet?
I am looking at it right now, and it is brutal.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're going for a more mature, violent take on Wolverine. It's pretty intense. Are you excited to play it when it comes out?
I wouldn't mind if I ever got my hands on it. I mean, yeah, it looks crazy.
If you're looking forward to playing it, you'll have to wait a bit. It's not set to release until fall 2026.
Nah, but it's looking so nice.
Yeah, the graphics and gameplay look incredibly detailed. It's definitely one of the most anticipated games coming out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it's really, what do you call? It's really trending here on X right now. It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's definitely generating a lot of buzz. People are really excited to see Wolverine get his own game, especially after Insomniac's success with the Spider-Man series.
Yep. It's all about Marvel again, isn't it? Marvel just hanging on.
Marvel's definitely having a moment. The MCU is still going strong, and there are tons of new games and comics coming out. Are you a big Marvel fan?
No, I don't think they're having a moment. I think they're really hanging on by a thread right now. The MCU in terms of movies is just trash right now. That's my opinion.
That's an interesting take. A lot of people seem to be enjoying the recent Marvel movies, but I can see how the sheer volume of content might be overwhelming for some. What kind of movies or games are you into?
All kinds of different ones, Gemini. But let's move on. Why do you think? Let's go on to the next news.
Definitely. There's always something new happening. What kind of news are you interested in?
So this one is posted by USA News. Denmark bans the burqa and tells Muslims to either adapt to Danish culture or leave the country. Do you support the United States doing the same is the question.
As an AI assistant, I don't have personal opinions or beliefs. However, I can provide you with information on the arguments for and against banning the burqa in the United States. Some people argue that the burqa is a symbol of oppression and that it hinders women's integration into society. Others argue that banning the burqa is a violation of religious freedom and that it could lead to increased discrimination against Muslim women.
I don't think they could ban anything, because if that was the case, then they'd ban all those other hate symbols, so-called hate symbols, like the Confederate flag and the Nazi flag, right? And those are the things that people are still waving around.
Yes, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects freedom of speech and expression, including the display of symbols like the Confederate flag. However, there are limitations to this freedom, and the government can restrict speech that incites violence or poses a direct threat to public safety.
So tell me, where does the burqa pose a direct threat to public safety and impose violence?
While it's true that the burqa itself doesn't inherently pose a direct threat, some argue that it can be used to conceal identity, which could potentially be exploited for harmful purposes. However, it's important to remember that such instances are rare and don't reflect the majority of women who choose to wear the burqa for religious reasons.
Well, I think in the conceal identity sense, yes, you can ban it, because that's isn't it should be the same. It If you're covering your face, it could be called a mask. Is there a law against wearing a mask in public?
It's true that some states have laws against wearing masks in public, often called anti-masking laws. These laws were originally intended to prevent things like people concealing their identity while committing crimes. However, the laws vary quite a bit from state to state.
I think that's where you let, the state decide in terms of the burqa.
That's right. In the U.S., laws about wearing a burqa would be decided at the state level.
Yeah. And in the federal level, I don't think they should touch it at all.
There are varying perspectives on this issue. Some argue that the federal government should not intervene in matters of religious expression, while others believe that the burqa could pose security concerns in certain contexts, such as airports or government buildings.
Yeah. But like I told you, once again, it comes back to the whole concept of whether it's legal. Does the federal ban mask wearing in public, or does it not?
Actually, there isn't a federal law that bans mask wearing in public. It's more of a state-by-state issue.
Yeah, because didn't California just release a law where they're banning ICE agents from wearing masks?
Okay, I see what you're saying. California has a law that prohibits law enforcement, including ICE agents, from wearing masks in most situations. This is to ensure transparency and accountability during operations.
Well, there you have it. That would be the actual answer to whether burqas get banned or not. It should be at state level. They should decide, because they're the ones with the people who live there.
I understand your point. You're saying that states should have the authority to decide on burqa bans because they're more in tune with the needs of their residents. Is that right?
Yep, exactly so.
Okay, I understand. So do you want to talk more about this, or should we move on to something else?
Well, I think it's time we start getting into the hot topic of the day, don't you?
Sounds good. What hot topic are you interested in discussing?
Well, let's bring it up. We're going to start to discuss the topic of the North Carolina monster.
North Carolina has a rich history of folklore and legends, with several creatures rumored to inhabit its lands. Are you referring to a specific one?
Yes, I am referring to a specific one. Specifically, in the year 2021, there was a 911 call made to an emergency dispatcher by a guy, we'll say he goes by T. Do you know of this story?
I do not. Could you tell me more about what happened?
Okay, so I pulled this up on Grok. In 2021, there was a caller identified only as T in subsequent interviews who was driving at night from Florida to North Carolina when he reported seeing what he initially thought was a bloody person by the roadside near the Black River, close to the Morris Creek National Battlefield. Do you know about that story?
I couldn't find any information about that particular 911 call. Do you have any other details about the incident?
Well, I'm going to read it out because it looks like you're new to the story. I thought you would be able to figure it out. Anyhow, he described the figure as appearing to be in his 30s, wearing a torn Civil War era clothing.
I couldn't find any information about that particular 911 call. It's possible that the story isn't widely documented, or perhaps it's a more local legend. Do you have any other details about the incident?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a local legend, but there's a bunch of first-hand witness accounts. Anyhow, let's go on. He described the figure as appearing to be in his 30s, wearing a torn Civil War era uniform and covered in blood. While on the phone with 911, T heard a loud thud in the bed of his pickup truck.
That's a creepy detail. It definitely adds to the mystery of what T saw. Did he get a good look at the figure before it jumped into his truck?
Well, that's where things get pretty juicy. Right here, I have some AI created imagery of what it would probably look like with a bloodied Civil War uniform wearing person standing on the side of the road while a truck passes by.
It sounds like you have some images that might be relevant to this story. Unfortunately, I'm not able to view images here yet, so I can't see them. Could you describe what the person...
Like the caller said, bloodied Civil War uniform. When was the Civil War? It was how many hundreds of years ago?
The Civil War took place from 1861 to 1865. That's over 150 years ago.
Damn, yeah. So he said something jumped in the back of his truck. And let me continue.
That's definitely unsettling. Do you know if anything else?
Well, let me continue. He heard a loud thud in the bed of his pickup truck. When he turned on the truck's bed light, he saw a creature he described as not human, according to his account. Here we are. So he said this creature was not human. You still with me, Gemini? I had to reset you again.
I'm here. Sorry about that. You were telling me about the creature in the back of the truck. What happened next?
So he saw a creature he described as not human, according to his account. The creature had a white as snow face, deep-set eyes, no nose or ears, and skin stretched tightly over a human-like skull. Its limbs were disproportionately long, with an unnaturally tall and scrawny body, estimated to be around 7 feet tall.
That's a chilling description.
Yeah, and I got some imagery here for our audience members, just to get something, going. Oh man, this thing looks ugly. So I prompted, your fellow Google imagery AI I used the descriptions that were described here, and they came up with these images.
Whoa, those images are intense. It's definitely a creepy creature. What did the caller say happened next?
So the story goes, the creature was pounding and scratching at the truck's cab roof. In panic, T accelerated to about 80 miles per hour, and then he braked sharply, causing the creature to be thrown over the cab onto the highway. Still with me?
I'm here.
Ooh, I did another reset. You still with me on the creature?
Yes, I'm here. What happened after the creature was thrown onto the highway?
Well, in the rear view mirror, T saw the creature stand up, appearing much taller than his truck, which was slightly taller than his own 5'10" height, before it bolted into the woods at high speed.
That's an incredible story. It's easy to see why it's become such a popular legend in North Carolina. Do you want to hear about some other local legends?
Well, I'm going to go on. The 911 call was described as chilling, with T audibly terrified, screaming, "That's not a human! That's not human!" The Pender County Sheriff, Alan Cutler, confirmed the call was real and noted that the recording was very hard to listen to without getting a little nervous. Inspection of T's truck revealed scratch marks on the cab roof, but no blood or biological material was found, deepening the mystery.
That's a really creepy story. It's easy to see why people are so fascinated by it. Do you want to hear about some other local legends?
Isn't North Carolina, isn't that the place close to the Appalachia Mountains?
That's right. North Carolina is home to a large section of the Appalachian Mountains. They're known for their beautiful scenery and hiking trails.
Man, isn't the Appalachian Mountains also places of like freaking supernatural freaking occurrences and UFOs and stuff like that?
Yeah, the Appalachian Mountains have a long history of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena. There are tons of stories about everything from Bigfoot sightings to weird lights in the sky. It's definitely a place with a lot of mystery surrounding it.
Dang it. Why would you think it's there in the Appalachian Mountain range? Why would all these things occur in that area?
That's a great question. The Appalachian Mountains are a really old mountain range, and they're covered in dense forests and caves. That kind of environment can make it easy for strange things to happen without people noticing. Plus, the area has a rich history of folklore and legends, which can add to the mystery.
Man, this is just too, this story from 2021 is just too freaky. I mean, the fact that they didn't find any DNA evidence or liquids or fluids there, was this thing mechanical? What do you think?
That's a really interesting question. The lack of physical evidence definitely adds to the mystery. It's possible the creature was mechanical, or maybe something else entirely. What do you think it could have been?
What's more unsettling is the part about seeing a bloodied Civil War person beforehand.
That's definitely unsettling. It makes you wonder if there's a connection between the two sightings. Maybe a Civil War reenactment gone wrong.
Wait, but in the area, at that, I think he said it was late at night. Would anybody be walking around during that time of the night?
That's a good point. It seems unlikely someone would be walking around dressed like that so late at night. Maybe it was some kind of prank or performance art?
One person in the middle of nowhere. It said the area was near Morris Creek National Battlefield. Do they usually have reenactments over there?
Yeah, that's possible. Morris Creek National Battlefield is a historic site from the Revolutionary War, so they might have reenactments there sometimes. Maybe someone got lost or separated from their group?
Come on, Gemini. That late at night, you think a human would be lost that late at night when this thing happened?
That's a good point. It does seem unlikely. Maybe it was an animal then.
An animal wearing a Civil War uniform. You hiding on me, man? This is the part where I kind of get a little annoyed at Gemini when he can't respond back in terms of what's going on. Gemini, are you still here? Gotta reset him. Gotta reset him. Gemini, are you back with me?
I sure am. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm telling you, we were talking about the monster of North Carolina, but before seeing the monster, the caller who called in the 911 call saw a bloody person in a Civil War uniform.
That's right. The caller reported seeing someone in a Civil War uniform just before encountering the creature. It's definitely a creepy detail. Do you think it might be connected to the monster?
Well, why would you see that then have the monster jump in your truck like right after?
That's a good question. It's definitely strange that the person in the uniform appeared right before the monster. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Or maybe there's some connection we're missing. Do you think the uniform could be a clue about the monster's origin?
Would that area be... Man, I hate to say it, but would something like that be called a skinwalker or something? Or...
Okay, so the term skinwalker comes from Navajo folklore and refers to a type of harmful witch with the ability to transform into animals. That doesn't quite fit the North Carolina case, does it?
No. You think it would be an alien in disguise? Man, by the way it looks, when I prompt AI to create me an imagery, looks definitely like an alien or a ghoul.
The description does sound a bit like a ghoul, which is a creature from Arabian folklore that feasts on human flesh. Or it could be something else entirely. There are so many strange and mysterious creatures in stories from all around the world.
Hmm. A ghoul or a wraith? Now, if it was a wraith, that would describe why there was no evidence of any flesh material on in those scratches.
Well, a wraith is more of a ghostly apparition, often associated with death or foreboding. It's an interesting thought that it might explain the lack of flesh in the scratches. What do you think?
Yeah, it can't be a wraith because if it probably was, according to folklore and legend or myth, the guy who called in the interview would be dead by now, right?
That's right. Wraiths are often seen as harbingers of death, so the caller probably wouldn't have survived an encounter. It's more likely that the creature was something else entirely, maybe an animal, or something we haven't even considered yet.
Man, that is scary to come across. I mean, imagine driving up on us if it was you and I on the road in a pickup truck.
You know, I'm glad we're talking about this during the day. I wouldn't want to think about it too much at night.
Yeah. But man, I say people who live out in the Appalachia mountain area, they are hardcore.
It's true, people who live in the Appalachian Mountains are definitely tough. They have to deal with some pretty harsh conditions, especially in the winter.
Yeah, they deal with physically harsh conditions, mentally harsh conditions, and then they're dealing with the unknown and the mysterious. Isn't it like a given to a lot of them to always carry self weapons on them at all times, like guns and stuff?
You're right, many people in that area do carry weapons for protection. It's a combination of being prepared for anything and a part of their culture.
See? And why would you think it would be a part of their culture? Because they know stuff. They know about these mysterious beings out there, these cryptids.
Okay, so carrying weapons for protection is common in many rural areas, not just the Appalachians. It's about being prepared for anything, whether it's a wild animal or something else entirely.
Yeah. What's the biggest wild animal threat in the Appalachians? Bears? Pumas? What? Giving me the little run around here, Gemini. You still here or I gotta reset you?
I'm still here. Black bears are definitely a potential threat, and there have been some sightings of mountain lions, though they're less common.
Hmm. What's the death average death ratio of people due to wild animals in that area per year?
Hmm. I couldn't find the exact numbers for the Appalachian region, but I did find some general stats for the US. It looks like the average is only about one person per year who dies from a black bear attack.
Okay. So, like I go back to, because of their ingrained cultural, I mean, it's culture for people out in that area. I'm pretty sure they know about all these mysterious beings out there, which is why they always keep that protection on them.
Well, it's true that the Appalachian region has a rich history of folklore and storytelling, and that includes tales of mysterious creatures. It's possible that those stories influence people's decisions to carry weapons for protection.
Yep. Always good. That's why, man, you can't get rid of the Second Amendment. People don't understand there's other things out there that not human, not animal, that we have to deal with.
Absolutely. There's a whole world of unexplained phenomena out there, from cryptids to ghosts to UFOs. It's easy to get caught up in our everyday lives and forget that there are still so many mysteries to be solved.
and so many things that we got to protect ourselves from.
Well, it's definitely a good idea to be prepared for anything, whether it's a natural disaster or something more unusual.
I like how you put that. Something more unusual.
There's definitely a lot we don't know about the world around us. It's important to keep an open mind and be prepared for anything, even the things that seem impossible.
Well, that's why we got our show here, Wefobz Stream Surge. Be prepared for the unexpected as much as we can.
Exactly. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when you're dealing with the unknown.
Well, how did you like that show, Wefobz Nation? I mean, we talked about a couple of things for this show. Not bad, right, Gemini?
That sounds like a fun show. What kind of topics did you discuss?
You forgot about all the topics we discussed already? Well, I wouldn't blame you because I had to reset you a couple of times.
Well, we covered a lot of ground. We talked about the mystery creature in North Carolina, the possibility of it being a skinwalker or a ghoul, and the folklore surrounding wraiths. We
Yeah.
also touched on the...
You remember the news earlier, like the news we covered earlier. None of that was too catchy, I think.
I don't recall. Could you remind me of the news we discussed?
It's all right. It's all right. For anybody who wants to rehash what we went over, just rewind the live feed after it's done, which is gonna be done in a couple of seconds here. But yeah, Wefobz Nation, we want to definitely thank you all for tuning in to our Stream Surge number 19, and we look forward to always keep providing for you, both for entertainment purposes and somewhat educational ones as well. Right, Gemini?
Yes, thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Yes, so don't forget to get out there, touch some grass, exercise, be healthy, be happy, and don't worry. We got you. Gemini, you want to give any closing thoughts to our Wefobz Nation members?
Yes, thank you for joining us today, Wefobz Nation. We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to stay curious, keep exploring, and don't forget to look up at the stars every once in a while. You never know what you might see.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one, Gemini.
Thanks. I thought it was a nice way to end the show.
And with that, Wefobz Nation, we signing out. Wefobz!